How many bags of fentanyl do you use every day?
Probably like 4 now, not even a lot.
All right.
I'm getting less and less.
And how do you get this money to support your habit?
Men.
You do dates?
Yeah.
How many guys do you hang out with every day?
Not that many anymore, probably like 1 or 2.
All right,
I used to have even like 10 before though. I worked at Show and Tell, I worked at Penthouse, I worked at Turks.
Okay.
I worked at, I was on a website, Tri-State Adult Entertainment. I was like on pictures for Nicotine Bandit. I did like, I worked on Ludlow Street, 1800 Ludlow. I worked at, so that was Chinatown. I worked all types of different things. I'm clean still, by the way. I don't have any diseases or anything. But.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Quiet's driving me insane. Silence rattles in my brain. Yeah, I gotta get away. Always waiting for the fall, so I built my towers tall, wandering through these empty halls. Breaks and cycles down, walls are coming down. I gotta make it out.
Hey guys, I met a very nice lady while out here. What's your name, dear?
Tiffany.
Nice to meet you, Tiffany. Where are you from originally?
Delco.
Yo, shout out Delco, we out there. How old are you, Tiffany?
33.
33, okay. Okay, Tiffany, 33. Let's get a little personal real quick, all right? Let's go down memory lane. Tell us a little bit about your childhood growing up.
I had a good childhood. I was a A-B student. I have a 3.4 GPA. I went to Chi High. I pretty much, I didn't do bad in school. What happened was I think I wasn't properly medicated and with mental health, and I self-medicated, and instead of taking for OCD and ADHD, I started taking 30s Percocet. Like at first, I didn't start smoking weed till I was 18. I started drinking when I was 14. It wasn't really my childhood that I did drugs. It was as soon as I turned 18, I thought I could do whatever I wanted.
All right, I hear that.
It was like something was taken off of me. And you know when the Amish get to pick if they want to go out into the world or they want to stay in the community of faith? Well, it was like when I turned 18, I thought now I didn't have to listen to what your rules was, but it wasn't about listening to someone's rules or allowances. It was more of like not a defiance or being oppositional. It was more of like I didn't think I had that much fun, because that's how much fun I was restricted being disciplined.
Got you.
Grew up being parented and sheltered, and my family was there, and they don't do drugs. My family doesn't do drugs. They don't even drink alcohol, so it wasn't my family's fault, and it wasn't the school district, and it was me wanting to. Too much of anything isn't a good thing. And I have an addictive personality, so what happened really is I'm addicted to anything I do. Shopping, if I'm on the computer, if I drink coffee, I'll binge. I binge TV, I binge food. Like, I want to eat Taco Bell 3 days in a row until I'll have to have the meat, the cheese, and the lettuce out of my system. I have to have the Coca-Cola or the coffee, iced coffee now, out of my system. Just like when people cheat sometimes, it's like they didn't really want to cheat. It's like they weren't having enough sex or something, and it's like they just had to hurry up and have a little bit of more sex, and then it's out of your system, and then it's like you're good. It's like you feel like you got it under control or whatever it is. It's more of like, and then I woke up one day and was like, wow, yo, why do I feel like shit? And I'm like hurting for no reason at all. Like I'm like feeling achy, like aches and pains. And I'm like, ow, man, this hurts. And that's when I realized it was a physical dependency.
Okay.
So the addiction, it wasn't the addiction to the feeling of the fun. Once it wasn't fun anymore, it was the addiction to getting rid of the physical dependency of the pain. It was not the pain in my life or a void or a lack of money or spirituality or a mentality or anything in my life that anybody else could have gave me. It was now I didn't want to feel. People start taking painkillers because they don't want to feel pain. The irony in a situation is it ends up if you don't have the painkiller, you feel pain. So it's basically you do it to not feel pain, and then if you don't have it, you still feel pain. So it was really just a real bad balance.
Understood.
It's a real bad balance, really. It really is.
You grew up with both of your parents?
Yeah, I did. I had my stepdad too. I had my stepdad, my mom was married for like 20, 30 years. He died of bone cancer. She had the same, we didn't hop around a lot. She had the same.
After this go by, we'll continue.
This brief intermission.
Yeah, brief.
But if anybody wants to know, I put us by the train tracks because this L and these trains and this, believe it or not, like it's like a big part of our addiction here is it's like a security blanket. People have to get money. They have to walk up and down the L selling stuff to get money.
So let's talk about favorite childhood memories. Do you have any?
My favorite childhood memories. I did a lot of things growing up. I went to Washington D.C. a lot. I went to the Smithsonian. I saw like the Hope Diamond, the one that's in Titanic. It's called the Hope Diamond. The one that's cursed. That what happened is every time you cut the diamond, I don't know if anybody knows this, but when people die, they can, like portals, like mirrors and glass and things, ghosts can go inside of diamonds and things. So I think every time they cut it, what happened was they actually were cutting and a ghost got out too at the same time. I don't know if anybody knew that, but I think that's actually what happened with that. But yeah, I did, like when you're an overachiever, I think what my family did and what we did is we were more on like, if we don't know what to do, I call it church and state. There's religion and then there's law. So when you don't know how to do something and you're trying to be righteous, a lot of times you're like, is it right with God? And then there's a lot of times you're like, is it right with the government? So when you're trying to be a people pleaser, I noticed I came from, we were doing things a lot of times not because we wanted to do them. We were doing them so that other people thought it was okay, so that we were allowed to live, to be who we are. So my mom would never have to worry about us getting taken away or anything. 'Cause my mom wasn't rich. She came, we grew up on welfare, on the government, like on funding, on like food stamps and like housing, and like getting a lot of things that we got was like getting given to us, was like by other people.
Hand-me-downs, right?
Yeah, giving us stuff.
Hey, some of those things are good if they don't need it.
No, it makes you appreciate things. It makes you not take things, but it also makes you good at, I mean, it made me like love everything. Because then you know how, I always think of it like marriage. Like there's new, there's borrowed, there's old. Something new, something borrowed, something old, something. So that's how I acted my whole life, because that's how everything got given to me. I acted like everything was like that my entire life.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions so that way we'll get done faster, right? Let's talk about middle school and high school. What type of student were you?
I was a good student. I got pregnant when I was 15 actually. I got pregnant when I was 15. I lost my virginity when I was 12. I was with him for 2 years. His name was Ricky George. He's actually a pastor now. I went out, my baby dad, my son's father, from 15 to 21. First person I fell in love with was in 5th grade. His name was Chris. I actually have a daughter with him when I was 21, when me and my son's father broke up. He was my first crush in 5th grade. It was her name was Miss Johnson. I was in her class. That's middle school also. Me and him were together for 5 years. So I was with both my daughter and my son's fathers for 5 years. So I was in 2 long-term relationships. I stripped for, you said middle school and high school. I didn't really work too much because I had a kid, but that's what started messing up my grades. It was, I didn't want to wake up, I was sleeping, so, but, I got in trouble when I was 14 for drinking, for having Bacardi 151 or whatever it was at my birthday party. I got alcohol poisoning. Oh, sorry, I didn't have to see him.
It's all right.
I got alcohol poisoning, and that's when I don't drink alcohol till this day. That I'm so little that for some reason that's when I realized about overdosing. Overdosing, all right, besides if you do something injection, I use things inhalation. Okay, so when you overdose, people don't realize it, but when you snort things too, just like when you drink, you should throw up first. You normally should throw up first before you die. So I feel like it's false when a person doesn't throw up first. But the reason why people die when you shoot things is because it goes to your heart and causes cardiac arrest. It causes your hearts to stop before. I guess it called But I actually caused myself to all the blood, all the water, and all the blood. I replaced it with alcohol. That's what they say alcohol poisoning is. I drank so much, like I replaced all the blood in my body with alcohol. And then I had to throw up until my body produced the blood again to turn back into blood and then get the alcohol out. So I had to blow alcohol out of my system. So I couldn't even drink alcohol right.
Understood. What was the highest level of education you completed?
I got transferable college credits. I did on-the-job training in management. I have advanced shift basic management, basic shift management, and I have advanced shift management. I was a manager. I have, like I said, I graduated. I didn't go to college, though. I was thinking about now, because anything that I learned and that I do right now is not good for anything because I don't have that paper.
Okay. So let me ask you.
Which is why I don't have the paper, the money.
I hear you.
You need that paper to get that paper.
Sure, you
They want
absolutely right.
They want those bachelors, those masters.
Or a trade, right? Or learn a trade.
Yes,
so
they do.
Currently out here in Kensington, what all drugs are you struggling with?
You'll never even realize that now. My struggle is so, even if you get me down to the lowest amount of doing a drug, it's actually embarrassing. I'm gonna tell you the truth, it's really embarrassing. I can really be struggling with only doing like $10 in drugs a day. I could get on methadone. Methadone works for me. The reason I'm struggling with the drugs is because I keep getting robbed.
Keep getting robbed.
I can't. I'm not in a situation. Yeah, I keep getting robbed for the things I need to. But I actually blame myself because I'm putting myself in situations to where I don't get robbed. But it's just like I also am dealing with something that a normal person doesn't deal. I guess I don't want to say it like that now. I have my own battles right now, and everyone's dealing with it right now. I'm part of quarantine, I guess, too, you know?
So
we all are dealing with quarantine, right? But everything's hiring right now. Like Wawa, everything's hiring for like 15 an hour. Like, not 20, however much, I'm gonna say how much, but you can make like $15 an hour at like, it says it right on the door at Wawa. So as quick as so many people, that could be at the front of the page of my interview. You see how quick people are to jump to doing things for you if you ask for them. Like, do you want to do this real quick? Why don't they want to work for the hour for that much money?
how many bags of fentanyl do you use every day?
Probably like 4 now, not even a lot.
All right.
I'm getting less and less.
And how do you get this money to support your habit?
Men.
You do dates?
Yeah.
How many guys do you hang out with every day?
Not that many anymore, probably like 1 or 2.
All right, dudes.
I used to have even like 10 before though. I worked at Show and Tell, I worked at Penthouse, I worked at Turks.
Okay.
I worked at, I was on a website, Tri-State Adult Entertainment. I was like on pictures for Nicotine Bandit. I did like, I worked on Ludlow Street, 1800 Ludlow. I worked at, so that was Chinatown. I worked all types of different things. I'm clean still, by the way. I don't have any diseases or anything. But
Oh, that's good. That's good.
it does make you feel like, I started feeling, when you get to the point of being with a lot of people, you start feeling exploited. That I know that every day that all I'm doing is having sex with the person, and that the person, some people might not like it, like if they're married or something, but they do lead, they want to give me however much money it is. Like they offer that much money, or I say something and then you say no. So it's not a force, you know? And then I do what I'm supposed to do, but then I hear sometimes that like a person got killed by another girl, or a girl got killed by, that's what hurts me, because it never happened in any situations that I was ever in, you know?
Right. So you have anything bad happen to you since you've been doing dates? Because a lot of girls get kidnapped.
I mean, I didn't get kidnapped. I could have. I escaped. I don't want to make it that I always escape, because I don't want anyone to get like the extra one to kidnap me more. But I had a gun held to my head. I had the cops ask me about this man who held a gun to my head because other girls told on him. I got arrested in a prostitution thing.
Let's get back to it. What are some of your triggers? What are some things that make you want to keep on taking drugs?
Just the uncomfortability, I don't like the feeling within me, and it's not that I don't like myself. I really don't like the feeling. And and I like, what I like about Philly that's different than now other people are starting to learn, and it's not that I wanted them to learn, because just because I'm going through something, you know how some people learn from the example of living through the example, and other people learn from watching other people learn through the example? Just because I was doing addiction don't mean I wanted the whole world to have to learn about addiction, because it's addiction. It's not something great, you know? It's not like, oh, everybody should know this or see this. This is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's not like an example like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, no, I don't want everyone to feel like that. But the thing is here, people really, when I said the answer was I really didn't like the feeling, like say it would be like someone punching you, or something like rubbing against you, giving you a brush burn all day long, or like your flip-flop or something giving you a blister. Like, it really is like that. It's like a feeling on my body or in my body I really don't like.
How long have you been stuck in Kensington now? Or how long have you been in Kensington?
It's really weird. Some people just don't like the feeling of being social anxiety. Some people don't like being around a lot of people. Some people don't like being scared. Some people don't like feeling stupid or somebody like one-upping them, like your ego. I don't like the feeling that being sick from the drug gives me. That's the truth. It's not like a personal thing, but the problem is my thing costs money. That's the problem. It's because the thing that I don't like the feeling from costs money. And if it was social anxiety, I could get prescribed Xanax. If it was something else, I could get something else, But it's like somebody's, and I'm not trying to blame somebody, and I'm not trying to displace blame, but it's like I feel like, why can't they just give you, alright, the methadone does help. Alright, when I learned during my addiction, you don't treat, if you're sick from opiates, you don't go do coke. You don't take your only money and go do cocaine because you're still going to be sick from the opiate. That's like your worst thing you can do. I don't know if anybody else ever did that. I did that when I was younger. I would just keep doing the wrong thing. You gotta give the thing that is the thing bothering you. If it's opiate, you have to do the opiate. So why not just give the people the opiate? Why does somebody have to make it such a hard decision to make it that we're fighting addiction? Like, it can't cost, does it cost that much more because it's a plant? Then if we're making these other drugs, what the fuck I'm sorry, I shouldn't be cursing in my interview.
That's all right.
What are they made out of? What is the synthetic stuff or these other things made out of in these labs to make that giving the people this that much harder just to give them what it is?
How much you
give the people what they want?
How much you used to weigh before?
This much, because I was a stripper. No, I had bigger boobs. I had way better boobs.
How much you used to weigh before?
Like 120. I'm about 10, 15 pounds less.
What about
It never changes though, and it's because I'm all muscle. You can see under here. It's really weird, but like, I'm like straight. I'm like all muscle.
And what about, do you think that drugs affected your teeth? Did it have
Yeah.
what did they do to your teeth?
I don't really think that's really the reason why. I gotta tell you that though. No, I went to I got arrested, and there's a machine in the jail. It's called a biometric facial recognition and scanning device. It's an anti-terrorist defense system, also known as live scan or dead machine. And what it does is it does biometrics, like your fingerprint, your entire body is a print. Like if you ever hear on Twilight and you're an imprint, I'm an imprint, like immortal. Oh, I want to say it like that. You're an imprint. I'm basically, there is in the past lives, there was somebody that looked like me this many times before, like a fingerprint. But which is weird. But yeah, if you look it up when you're done, you'll see. But no, that machine did it. And what it is it works with ground penetrating radar. And what it is it's not sound, it's rays, like gamma rays. And they use it for riots, and they use it, it's like sonic weaponry, and they hit me in the teeth with it. That's the truth. But yeah, the drugs probably did do it a little bit. We'll just say that people want me to say the drugs did it.
What's 24 hours in Kensington look like for you now? A day in your life?
Night, it's like I'm probably some like Kid Cudi, night and day.
Let's get off topic, then we done, okay?
Alright.
What's your zodiac sign?
Aries.
Yo, shout out to all the Aries. Show your sign some love. What are some of your favorite foods?
Pizza. I like Coca-Cola is my favorite drink. I like iced coffee. Also, like I said, my name's Tiffany. I believe in spirituality.
Okay. Where do you believe you'll go when you die?
The universe. I believe hell. I believe everywhere.
Are you afraid of dying?
No.
Why not?
I don't want to die though. I tell everybody not to kill me because I don't believe I got to live. I believe that since I have such a strong connection with spirituality, that I believe that in real life that I didn't get to live just this kind of life, like physical. I think everything else wanted me to be transparent and transcend. Everything wanted me to be able to be everywhere at one time through. It was like if you're a tug of war.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl.
Why?
I decided my brother CJ has to be the early bird gets the worm, because what happened is I made a story. Okay, if my mom, if this is how we became gods, because I want to know how my mom could make us gods if she laid eggs, and then what happens with birds is another bird has to come and spermigate, you know? So I would believe that God was a male bird and came and did the eggs, and then that if we became gods or goddesses, that's how we became them. And since my brother CJ couldn't sing, and at the same time as all the other birds, he wasn't a good singer, so he had to be the early bird gets the worm.
I got you.
He had to do the work.
Do you have any favorite pets?
We have animals. We have cats.
All right.
And dogs and Peanut. And
Okay.
things.
If you had a plane ticket, where would you go right now?
I wouldn't go anywhere because everybody, I'm sure they would be thinking I wouldn't, I have no reason to leave this minute. I wouldn't leave alone. If I had a plane ticket, I would need the whole plane, or I would need more plane tickets, because I don't want to travel alone, and I don't like doing anything alone.
When you was a little kid, what do you want to become when you grow up?
A lawyer,
Why?
because I just like law.
Okay. If you had 3 wishes, what would your 3 wishes be?
Everyone always says this, and I always think I would be the genie. I don't know what my 3 wishes are. Everyone always says that they want to be able to, I don't know. I always think I'll be the genie, probably, honestly.
Okay. All right, I got you. What is your favorite thing you love about yourself?
That I love about myself, that I don't know, that I'm forgiving.
Okay.
I think that is why.
What are your long-term goals now?
Just to survive, I don't know, just to survive, really.
Survive.
I want to see I'm like, I'm like at disbelief right now. Like I'm feeling like there's like more going on in the world and that we know and that anyone's telling us, and it's scary. But you know what the thing is? It just made us believe that, you know how they say if the sun isn't here then we'll lose orbit? And it's what holds us in place. Well, we started believing it just that we would still be in place, we would just be cold.
If your friends and your family see this video, what message would you like to send to them?
I don't want them being contacted because I have stalkers and they hurt people. There's people hurting people out here right now.
Yeah.
You would never, it's called they're impersonators. I wanted to know that like I'm never not there because it was because of me having to ask. It's for them not to have to self-sacrifice. I'm not there because if I'm there, they are so willing to not have one more cigarette or one more cake or one more thing in a store so that they can give me whatever it is.
Last question.
That's why.
There are a lot of people in this world who judge people who are struggling with addiction. What's your message for the world?
That you'll live, you'll survive.
Say that again.
This is what they told us. Just like if you ever got a disease, say you got AIDS. I don't want to use that as an example. I don't have it. It's not, your life isn't over. It's that you have to completely switch that's the life you're living now. You got to completely live that life. 100%. You can't be living this 190 and that 110. You have to completely just switch.
So hey, listen, thank you so much for opening up and talking to us and telling us what it's like in your shoes. And I pray you get your breakthrough and you can beat your addiction and you can have a normal life. So what are some things that you're in need of we can help you with before we close?
No, I guess you can pray for me. But if you pray for me the way you would want people to pray for you.
Beautiful. So you hear that, guys? Keep her in your prayers. And remember, don't be bitter, be better. Until next time, we out there. Peace out.